I'll ask you once more. Leave my boat. The words sliced through the lively chatter, sharp and unyielding. The woman standing at the helm, her poise impeccable, didn't flinch. Her gaze was unwavering as it met his. He remained still, not a single word leaving his lips, just the steady tension of silence hanging in the air. All eyes on the deck were fixed on them, frozen in anticipation. Some spectators smirked from behind their drinks, others averted their gaze, but nobody could look away. Security's on their way, she warned, her voice steady but firm. He barely glanced up, his reply measured, but stopped everyone in their tracks. Do you even know who I am? The question, simple yet piercing, echoed through the tension. Will he walk away, or will he turn the tide? To witness how dignity confronts arrogance and triumphs, subscribe now. This story is just beginning. A deep silence fell across the deck as Elena's voice broke through the festivities, clear as crystal, cutting through the sound of laughter, music, and luxury. For a moment, everything was still. Glasses halted midair. Suddenly, each guest seemed acutely aware of their position, their allegiances, and where they stood in this unfolding drama. Victor Hart didn't flinch, not even as the security guard moved toward him, eyes darting nervously between the hostess and the man who was supposed to be escorted off. Moments ago, no one would have predicted this night would spiral into something unforgettable. But now, discreet phones emerged, their owners hungry for a story, a scandal to share. Each person's expression betrayed a different calculation. What would this cost them? How would they be seen? The only two who appeared untouched by the mounting tension were Elena and Victor, each standing firm for their own reasons. The guard spoke, his voice low and uncertain. Sir, I need you to come with me. Victor raised a hand, his voice quiet but firm. No need. I'll handle it. He turned to the crowd, his voice cutting through the murmur. Does anyone here know who invited me tonight? His words were not loud, but they carried weight, slicing through the pretense with surgical precision. An older man, sharply dressed in a dark suit, suddenly stiffened. Across the deck, a woman in a crimson gown whispered in disbelief, "That's Victor Hart." Elena refused to back down, crossing her arms. Names are easy to throw around, but that doesn't mean you belong here. We have rules. She clung to her power, even as it slipped through her fingers. Victor took a slow, deliberate breath, holding up a heavy, gold-embossed invitation for all to see. The room fell into a deeper hush. Even the most skeptical guests recognized it immediately. The founding partner's invitation, someone murmured, their voice filled with awe. No one gets one of those. Elena's composure cracked. The security guard stepped back, hesitating. Whispers began to spread like wildfire, confusion and disbelief circulating among the guests. Is this real? Someone muttered. Why would she treat him like that? But Elena pressed on, her voice quivering with determination. The list is final. If you're not on it, you're not a guest. She stabbed at her clipboard with trembling fingers, flipping pages wildly. I'll settle this with the director, she said, dialing the phone in haste, but not before it was on speaker for all to hear. The crowd watched as she spoke to the event coordinator, her tone brittle and sharp. There's a man here claiming to be an investor, but I can't find him on the list. I'm asking him to leave for security reasons. A long pause followed before the coordinator's voice came through, cold and precise. Elena, that's Victor Hart, the principal investor. Your job tonight is to make him feel comfortable. If he's treated poorly, the board will address it immediately. Elena's face drained of color. But no one told me. There must be some mistake, she stammered, desperately trying to maintain control. But the coordinator wasn't done. There's no mistake. You were given the updated list. If you didn't check it, that's on you. Apologize to Mr. Hart. Now, Elena at last faltered, her eyes wide with panic. The crowd began to shift, their whispers growing louder, the judgment in the air palpable. A man in a blue blazer chuckled. She's in trouble now. Another quietly added, she had that coming. Still grasping at some semblance of authority, Elena plastered a smile on her face. Mr. Hart, I'm so sorry for the mix-up. It's just that security is very tight these days. But Victor was unyielding. You didn't even bother to check the list. You didn't even look at my invitation. You made assumptions. The older man who had recognized him earlier moved forward. Mr. Hart, we owe you an apology. You're not just welcome here. You are integral to our success. As the event coordinator, flanked by senior staff, came up from below deck, his face grim, he turned to Elena. Hand me your badge. You're relieved of your duties. The stunned silence was thick. Wait, you can't do this. It's a mistake. Elena protested. The coordinator's voice was unwavering. You had one job tonight. Respect our guests, especially those who make this event possible. You've embarrassed the entire organization. Now leave. The security guard who had hovered near Elena now moved to stand behind her, his expression hard. This way, ma'am. His words left no room for argument. With shoulders slumped, Elena tried to gather herself, but her legs wobbled. She scanned the crowd for any support, but there was none. Some turned away, others glared, and a few even smiled with satisfaction. As she was escorted past the bar, the whispers turned to laughter and then applause, hesitant at first, then growing louder. Every clap seemed to deepen her humiliation. Victor stood tall, a quiet dignity about him. He didn't smile or sneer. He simply watched, composed. This victory wasn't about revenge. It was about showing strength without gloating. Once Elena was gone, the atmosphere lightened. The tension evaporated, replaced by a sense of relief and joy that spread through the deck. The music shifted, more upbeat, and guests who had earlier ignored Victor now approached him, offering apologies and eager introductions. One woman, dressed in a red gown, smiled softly, "Thank you." Victor gave her a nod, small but genuine. People don't change until they're called out. A group of younger business people surrounded him, sharing their own experiences of striving for recognition. Victor listened, offering advice, encouragement, and attention. As the atmosphere lightened, a new hostess, kind, warm, and respectful, stepped up, gratitude in her eyes. Mr. Hart, thank you for showing us what true leadership looks like. Victor's response was simple but powerful. Respect isn't about titles or wealth. It's about how you treat people, no matter who they are. As the yacht glided past the city lights, the atmosphere shifted completely. Conversations turned to dreams, possibilities, and second chances. Victor excused himself, joining the crew for a quiet moment below deck. He raised a glass, acknowledging the hard work and respect that had once eluded him. The staff, their faces filled with pride, toasted him in return. Meanwhile, Elena was left alone on the dock, her phone buzzing with angry messages and notifications, calls from her boss, colleagues in different chats telling her she was removed. Her access to emails was cut off, her career in ruins. She leaned against a lamppost, staring into the water, knowing that her career would never recover from this night. Back on the yacht, the event manager took the microphone, his voice filled with purpose. Let's never forget, every person here matters. Tonight, we learned that the hard way. Victor raised his glass, not in celebration, but in acknowledgement of resilience. The guests joined in, their applause genuine. The city skyline glittered, a silent witness to a night of transformation. Victor's quiet strength reshaped the night, proving that true power lies in respect, not dominance. Change begins within.